All right, hey guys, this is James from Project Rowing. Haven't made a video in a long time. Been pretty focused on my day job, but something I want to get back into. And I noticed this really interesting post on Reddit, and left a comment, but I feel like the reply I got kind of made me believe that it wasn't adequately explained. And I think this is something that I can do a lot better explaining in a video. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Basically, the post consists of he's a new rower who has been looking a lot of video of high level rowers and wants to get a good sense of what kind of technique should he be emulating. And he's being taught certain things as a novice rower. I think his main two contentions are around posture and sequencing. And he says, look at these high level rowers. They're not sequencing like I'm being taught to sequence. They don't have the posture that I'm being taught to have. What gives? And I think that's a very two things. One, it's awesome that this guy is looking at high level rowers as a way to further his knowledge about technique in the sport. I think that if you are trying to do anything in life, one of the best things you can do, if you're trying to improve at something, the best thing you can do is find people who are experts in that field and watch them and learn from them. So that's great that he's kind of taken his own initiative to do this. Um, the other thing is, he's asking questions, right? Like, what gives? I think a lot of people aren't necessarily brave enough to ask these questions, and these are good questions to ask. I'll get them every once in a while from rowers, and I think it's important to answer this question because um, I'm a big believer in not just teaching what you should be doing, but why you should be doing it. So the main point that I'm going to make, and I'm going to go into, I'm going to try to everything I say is kind of in service of this is high level rowers can get away with not rowing with the same technique that's being taught to novice rowers because of two things. One, they're compromising efficiency for speed. So, they don't need to. So, for example, with heavyweight rowers, you see this all the time. The Olympic level heavyweight rowers, they're like engaging the arms a lot more than we teach novice rowers to. Like we want novice rowers to just be super relaxed in the upper body and not really use the arms at all. I always say like 5% with the arms. And the reason that these heavyweight Olympic level rowers are engaging with the arms is because sure they're putting in more energy and getting less output per energy that they're putting in, but they have so much energy to give and they need that high level speed that they can compromise on efficiency for speed, right? To be competitive, they need to do that. So it's not something that high school level rowers have to worry about. High school level rowers, people who are just learning, they have to learn efficiency because that is the how they're going to win races and how they're going to learn good technique. And then the other thing is when you're learning something, you're learning very strict fundamentals. So I really, my big things when I'm teaching people is sequencing, getting the arms out first, getting the body over, getting the legs up, being very very strict on this because if if you allow people to be kind of messy with their technique early on, that's not going to translate into good rowing technique later on down the road. There's plenty of times where I've worked with rowers who are 2 or 3 years into their rowing career, and we have to spend a lot of time going back to fundamentals and kind of reworking them because whoever taught them at the beginning either didn't have the time or didn't put in the effort to really lock in these fundamental technical necessities. So we'll take a quick look. We'll start with the correct rowing technique video. The again, this is the same thing when you're teaching a novice rower. You're you're overemphasizing these fundamental points, right? And so we'll see in this video. Let's see. I'll actually back it up a little bit. You'll see she's very mechanical, right? It's like I'm like going arms, then body, then legs. I think yeah. So it comes up, but it's very mechanical, right? And the idea is to just illustrate the sequencing to really kind of break it apart. Um, So when you're looking at this, you're not thinking like obviously she's not rowing in an Olympic final right now or anything like that. She's just trying to demonstrate good technique to people who have no clue of technique. So that's why it's very mechanical. That's why it's very upright. It looks pretty stiff, to be honest, right? But again, it's what it's meant for. It's meant to kind of convey proper fundamental technique. Um, I think this is a good video that illustrates what not to do, and this idea of you can you can greatly compromise your technical efficiency in order to optimize on power, right? So this guy's some big heavyweight lifter guy. He's going for the 100-meter row world record. Like anyone who does this is usually not a rower. It's usually some big power lifter guy that's you know has never learned proper rowing technique and is just kind of getting on and monstering through this. And you can see like he's letting his knees come up before the body comes over, right? And he can get away with this, right? Like he's throwing tons and tons of weight into the front end of the stroke that he's got to then turn around, and that's really inefficient. But it doesn't matter. You have so much energy, so much power, and he's just trying to jam as much output into that 100 meters that he possibly can, that he can just row like an absolute monster, and it doesn't really matter. Obviously, he's not in a boat, right? So if he's in a boat, this guy flips instantly. So this is not someone to look at and be like, this is how I should be rowing. This is actually a very good illustration of like all the things you shouldn't be doing when rowing. So I think this was the key video that he kind of brought up, and it makes a lot of sense. Like this is the Rio finals, so you'd expect the people in this finals to be extremely high level to demonstrate the best rowing technique. Um, and he was like, oh well, he's got this curve at the top. So I want to talk a little bit about this curve. So we'll play this here, right? So this is the curve he's talking about. This slope in the back here. Uh, and the point I want to make is when we're teaching someone to row, the two things that I focus on with posture is keep the chest up, keep that body nice and tall, and then keep the chin up, right? And if you look at him, he's actually doing a pretty good job of keeping the chest up, right? He's not falling down into the knees, and obviously the chin's up as well, right? So he's got pretty good posture in the front end of his body. And so then you look at it and you say, okay, well, but the top sloped. What's going on with the top? If we're taught that this tall upper body is the way to row, why is this guy rowing with this slope? And the reason is he's going for this very efficient arm hang, right? Like you see this nice straight line. The lats are really extended, right? So he's allowing that upper body to stretch out and allow the legs to do most of the work here. So it's not that he's not dropping his posture, right? He's still rowing with decent posture. He's just allowing the top of the back to extend and suspend out, so he can get that really efficient drive, right? So he's allowing the arms to hang so that the legs do the work, the arms are relaxed, and it's only after he's come through that he then drives, right? It's actually just gorgeous rowing. Right? He gets that connection. Again, tall in the chin is up, the chest is off the legs, the arms are fully extended, and the arms stay extended, right? Keeps that forward body angle. And again, it's the lats, right? Like if you draw a line through like through here, like again, chest is up, you know, there's a little bit of natural curve in the spine. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to be like leaning back with that like rigid upper body. But he's allowing that hang in the arms. That's why you see the curve. Is it's the hang in the arms. Um, let's see, and we can see this, and this is another video too, where we see that hang in the arms. You see that kind of curved look right there. So, and it's actually easier to see in this mirror here. Again, the chin is up, right? The chest is off the legs, and you might say, oh well, he's got this curve to his back, right? but again, it's the lats here that are kind of extending out, right? He doesn't need to be ramrod straight. He's getting that hang in the upper body. He's focused on that efficiency. Um, so yeah, I think that's all I wanted to kind of say about this. Hopefully that answers his question. Hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of insight into why elite level rowers can kind of get away with a little bit of not holding religiously to these fundamentals that are taught to early rowers. I'm hoping to make more videos like this. If you guys like the content, definitely like reach out, let me know, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. If you have any videos that you want me to review or take a look at, happy to do that. Gonna try to make more of these in the future, so definitely keep an eye out. Thanks.